Hello, Contrarians listeners, Contrarians watchers, Contrarians friends. Here we are, about to close down an important chapter in Contrarians history. We finished the Twilight Saga. We are about to release our episode on Breaking Dawn, but we have to get you ready for it. Got some quotes, got some trivia. We're doing both parts, Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2, together. United, much like we did Psycho and the Psycho remake in the previous episode. This time it's Breaking Dawn Part 1, Breaking Dawn Part 2. These quotes, I picked them carefully so that they would apply to either movie, or rather both movies. They're all rotten, and they should kind of get you in the mindset, the mind space of where the critics were when these movies were released. Here's Michael DeQuina from themoviereport.com, who says, if I can say anything for the film, it's that it delivers exactly what the legions of Twihards want and expect, or what Tim Edward wants anyway. This is probably mostly about the first movie, when Tim Edward did the victory lap. And
yeah.
He wed her. He put the ring on her. That's it. That settled it.
Took her to bed.
On top of everything. Matt Brunson from Creative Loafing says, critiques really have no weight when it comes to films like this. The haters are going to hate, the fans are going to love, and everyone else will check the movie listings and their own wallets before deciding if this is the best option for a night on the town.
Accurate. We discussed this in painstaking detail in the episode.
Yes. This is a very sober, calm take on the phenomenon. It's like, it is what it is. The people that hate it are going to hate it no matter what. And the people that love it are going to love it no matter what. At this point, once you get to Breaking Dawn, I think everybody has made up their minds. Ken Turner from School Library Journal says, it makes you wonder if splitting the book in two parts was such a good idea. Alex, give me one instance where it has been a good idea, where you went like, okay, I'm glad that they split it in two.
I don't know.
I know we have people in the audience screaming, Lord of the Rings, Lord of the Rings. It doesn't count because...
Well, Lord of the Rings, those were 3 books, right?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of The Hobbit? Because The Hobbit was 1 book split into 3 movies.
Yeah, and nobody likes The Hobbit.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to use that as an example, but you don't have to walk very far to find someone who loves the Lord of the Rings films. I've never seen someone gush over the fucking Hobbit films. Yeah, I don't know. Most recent Halloween trilogy. I'm grateful that was broken into 3 parts.
But it was never, it didn't.
Oh yeah, it wasn't like an adapted screenplay.
Right? Yeah. We're gonna close with just the final word when it comes to movie reviewing. Roger Ebert from the Chicago Sun-Times. He went to see Twilight Breaking Dawn, sat down, watched the whole thing, and then he said, I must admit, if you're going to bring the series to a close, part 2 does it about as well as it can be done.
That seems to be the consensus amongst people we talked to. We had a conversation about this just the other night with our friend Eddie, and he seemed to say he wouldn't necessarily call any of them good, but the last one was the best one just because it had such a finality to it. And also, most people, dudes specifically, put over the decapitation fest towards the end of this. Yeah, again, it's exactly what people wanted it to be, and or its fans wanted it to be, and from our perspective, it definitely had a sense of finality, which is not common in today's market.
Yeah, I just love the idea that Roger Ebert sat through it. It was his job. It didn't matter if he...
The Lenny.
Well, now give us some trivia, Alex, for part 1 or part 2.
Yeah, so Breaking Dawn Part 1 was released on November 18th of 2011. Budget of $127 million. The box office return of a little over $712 million. And then on the other side of the coin, we had Breaking Dawn Part 2, released on November 16th of 2012, almost the day a year later. Budget of $136 million. I believe that made it the most expensive Twilight film. Box office return of $830 million. It's It's ridiculous. So 1.5 billion dollars. That's billion with a B. These two movies alone grossed. It was filmed back to back with Breaking Dawn Part 1. Filming began on November 1st of 2010 and wrapped on April 15th of 2011. Filming took place on location in Baton Rouge, Rio de Janeiro, as well as in Vancouver, Canada. Despite still being a fan favorite for diehards of the last movie and the novels, the technology used to show Renesmee's rapid growth is still heavily criticized years later. So
She's
that
a
wasn't
fan
even
favorite.
I guess the Renesmee character is, but I do like that's like the meme format of the hands shaking. It's like Twilight fans, non-Twilight fans shitting on the CG baby. During the montage of Renesmee's rapid growth, a baseball glove is seen on the shelf behind her. This is a nod to the first film of the franchise where the Cullen family plays baseball. Were you disappointed we didn't get another baseball sequence after the original or the OG?
Yes. I am disappointed that we never saw another sequence that was just about having fun. I guess the wedding is the closest we get to that. But even then, the wedding is kind of like a plot requirement. It's like it has to happen. The baseball game was just there for fun. They could have cut it out and they would just meet the French vampire and that would be it. But I understand as the movies have progressed, they have so many more characters to service that they really didn't have time to just stop and smell the flowers, so to speak. But yeah, I'm glad that there was a reference to it. Obviously, I missed it. I was too busy just taking in, processing the fact that that baby looked unreal.
And kind of wrapping up here, Dakota Fanning only has one word in the movie. One word, not even a line of dialogue. She just has one word.
Which is? No?
Pain.
Oh, pain.
Pain and shame. The film's final word is forever, which in the end credits is featured on the page of a book. This is also the final word of the novel itself. So again, man, they could not have played any more to their home crowd. They're
made with care.
Yeah.
It's not for you, not for me, but for a lot of people.
Yeah, like everyone in the theater that, was the big fan was just like, oh, there it is. Can't imagine the amount of tears that were shed at the end of this. I told you.
Did you ever come close to tearing up? No, you never got emotional in part 2?
No. There's because it is, they're good actors and even though we had spent some time with the characters, it's still fucking like soap opera level acting. Some of it is like fucking porn level acting, but yeah, but if I was really into it and they ended it the exact same way they ended the books, I'd be like, fuck yeah.
I did mention this in the episode because I hadn't thought about it until just now, but I found myself surprised by the fact that it's not like I didn't even tear up or anything, but I was like, oh, this is cool, like in an emotional way. When right before the final battle starts, Bella knows what's going to happen, so she gives Jacob the go ahead, and he takes off running with the baby, maybe with the girl, and then they just keep cutting back to him running, his life and her life depends on it, and he knows he's missing out on the battle, and he knows that his friends are getting hurt because he can feel when the other wolves are eating it, and they have a close-up of the CGI wolf. And I was like, "Aw, poor guy." I don't even like the character, but I actually felt like his devotion, and then of course he gets his ass kicked, beaten off the road or something. I don't know what happens. There's some chaos, but
I told you I pumped my fist at the end credits how it was for the entire franchise. I was just like, that's a nice touch.
That's our little pre-show for Breaking Dawn parts 1 and 2. Check out your podcatchers. You should have the episode there. If not just now, then very, very soon. It'll be a bit supersized. But then again, after the Psycho episode, I think that it's just par for the course in October. Coming up next, the Embries. It's our anniversary. We've been podcasting for the end of our 8th year, heading into our 9th year. I think that's the correct chronology. And there's a lot of movies that we covered this year. It's a lot of awards to give out. It'll be a lot of fun. Check it out. No homework other than listening to our old episodes in the past 12 months to be prepared.
Just catching up on the movies we've done over the past year.
Yes, yes. So you can really get it when we give them awards. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out the videos, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Forever.